Welcome to the Sleeper Dynasty Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Lehman. Thanks for tuning in. Please make sure to leave a 5-star rating or review on whatever platform you're listening from, and make sure to subscribe so you're notified when we post future episodes. It really helps a lot, and it's a great way to support the show. Also, please follow us on X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Sleeper Dynasty. Sleeper Gang merch is here. These are hand-drawn designs, and they are the highest quality t-shirts that you can buy. I wouldn't sell nothing that I don't like myself, so that's only high quality here. This is a great way to support the show. Go get yours on sleeperdynasty.com. All right, let's get into the news. Rashee Rice, man. Rashee Rice. What are you doing, dog? What are you doing, dog? GTA 6 ain't out yet. He's already playing it real life. What is this man doing? I mean, has a fantastic rookie season. I wanted to be all in on Rashee Rice, man. I wanted to be all in on Rashee Rice this year. I was going to buy some shares. I'm glad I haven't yet. So this article is from Andrew Lynch with WAVY out of Kansas City. And this is what he said. A man told officers he was at an after-hours party at the nightclub when he decided to leave at 1:30 a.m. He said just before 2 a.m., the suspect, reported to be Rice, sent him an Instagram message asking him to come back to the nightclub. The victim said he thought Rice wanted to hire him to take pictures and decided to drive back to the nightclub at 1:30 a.m. Dog, that's how you know this story ain't true. He said when he returned, Rice asked him to look at his cell phone where there were Instagram messages between the victim and an unidentified person. Whoa, what's up with that? That's just weird, man. That's just weird. The victim told officers while he was looking at Rice's cell phone, Rice punched him on the left side of his face. The rest of the report is redacted, and the only other relevant detail is the victim had an apparent minor injury with swelling to his jaw. Rice hasn't commented about this investigation, nor have the Chiefs. He has been charged with 8 felonies in a separate case related to a high-speed crash in Dallas at the end of March involving 6 vehicles. He's also facing multiple lawsuits in which victims in that crash are seeking millions of dollars. What the fuck are you doing, Rashee Rice, man? We all wanted to root for you, dog. You got Patrick Mahomes throwing you the ball. I don't think it. Let's get into the realistically. What does this mean? I've seen as much of a suspension as half of a season. So like 8 weeks that he could be suspended. We don't know. We don't know the specific suspension time, but there's also stuff coming out about his SMU days where he was involved in some other stuff going on. So it's just bad news around Rashee Rice right now. So to be honest with you, it's enough bad news that I might be trying to go and buy him. It's risky, but even if he comes back after 8 weeks, he's going to be the guy. I don't see Xavier Worthy coming on that fast with the Chiefs. And you got to remember that Hollywood Brown is still there. And Travis Kelce is going to lead the team in targets. So it's a crowded room, but I fully expect Rashee Rice to come back strong after his suspension, possibly. We don't even know. We don't even know, guys. So use this news, go scare the crap out of your league mates, and try to go buy him. So, I mean, I'd probably buy him for a second right now. That seems like it hurts a little bit, so it seems fair. And I think he's worth that. So if you can get Rashee Rice for a second, try to throw out some thirds maybe to get him on the low. But yeah, man, go try to get Rashee Rice for sure. And also another part of this is I think people are bumping up Xavier Worthy a little bit more than he probably should be because of this situation. And just remember that, yeah, Xavier Worthy might come on quick, but as soon as Rashee Rice gets back, he's going to sort of have a difficult time competing with targets with Rashee Rice. So keep in mind, Xavier Worthy's value is going to keep going up because he has Patrick Mahomes throwing him the ball, and everybody thinks he's Tyreek Hill. So, I mean, I can see Xavier Worthy's value getting kind of inflated right now. All right, so today's episode, I hated on him a bunch before the draft. We're doing a rookie profile on Rome Odunze. Now, when I say I was hating on him, I was hating on him compared to where people had him before the draft. There were people saying that he was over Malik Neighbors, that he was like wide receiver 2, but he was really going like wide receiver 3. So I don't think much has really changed from before the draft to now. I was more concerned. I liked Brian Thomas about as much as I liked Rome Odunze. Now, I'm not stupid. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say, hey guys, go draft Brian Thomas over Rome Odunze. No. You need to keep in mind that Rome Odunze has value in the community because people hold him very highly. And after the draft, after getting drafted 9th overall to the Bears, compared to, Brian Thomas going later, 23rd, I think, to the Jags, Rome Odunze has value. So, yeah, Rome Odunze is my wide receiver 3. And so let's get into it. Let's get into his profile. So Rome Odunze is currently sitting out of rookie camp practice with hamstring tightness. So a little concerning, but to be honest, I don't see that becoming an issue. I don't think it's going to be a lingering issue. We should see him bounce back and come back to rookie camp practice soon. I don't think it's that serious. We'll get more on that. We got a long way to go before the beginning of the season, so I'm not too worried about this news, but something to keep an eye on. All right, so Rome Odunze. He's 6'3", 212 pounds, big guy. He's got size. And, usually that's an issue with prospects is the size. This year, we don't seem to have that issue. So I think we're going to kind of overlook the fact that he's 6'3", 212 pounds, but he's a big dude. And, that's useful in the NFL. Big body wide receiver. He's almost 22 years old, so, he's not one of these older guys. Average size, hands, arm, wingspan. His 40 time, he ran a 4.45 40. His shuttle was a 4.03 at the combine, and that is in the 91st percentile. And then, of course, let's see, the three cone. The three cone, he was in the 65th percentile. He ran a 6.88. His vertical was a 39, broad jump 124. So the vertical was in the 88th percentile. The broad was in the 70th percentile. So let's talk about his three cone real quick, because that's why I hit that first. Everybody's saying like, oh man, I respect this guy so much for staying at the combine, and he was running it after, and everybody's surrounding him. Do I think that he has good character? Sure. But you're not going to sit there and tell me that man wasn't doing that for the media. He did it 10 times. He ran the three cone 10 times because he couldn't get the time. To me, that's just take the loss, man. Take the loss, move on. I do think that once he started doing that three cone after the combine, he started seeing some cameras and reporters coming over, and he was just doing it for the... Come on, guys. He was just doing it for the media. He was just doing it for the media. Let's be real. But do I think he initially was just man, I got to get this? Sure. I'm not saying he's a bad dude. I can appreciate that. He's hardworking, whatever. But let's be real. He was doing it for the media. And then 65th percentile for the three cone. I mean, he wasn't hitting his goal that day, and that's fine. That's fine, man. He's big. He doesn't have to hit he doesn't have to hit these numbers. And I know he wants to, but now he went 9th overall in the draft, and so I'm sure he doesn't care about that now. All right, so his bio. Rome Odunze, a wide receiver who made his mark at Bishop Gorman High School in Las Vegas, Nevada. flourished both on the football field and the track under the direction of head coach Kenny Sanchez. His athletic prowess earned him a 4-star rating from both ESPN and 24/7 Sports, cementing his status as one of the top prospects in Nevada. This was further accentuated by being crowned the Gatorade Player of the Year in Nevada in 2019. Post-high school, the allure of the gridiron saw Odunze being pursued by college football powerhouses like Bama, Oklahoma, and Florida. It was the University of Washington that secured his commitment in August 2019, leading to his official enrollment in June of 2020. As a Husky, his play has improved every year. His junior year in 2022 was particularly exceptional. 70 catches for 1,088 yards, an average of 15.5 yards per reception, 7 TDs, and an elite quarterback rating when targeted of 124.9. This outstanding play didn't go unnoticed, garnering him accolades including the 2022 third-team All-American Associated Press Pro Football Focus, and 2022 first-team All-Pac-12 from the Associated Press and Phil Steele. 2023 was amazing for Odunze as he improved on his 22 numbers by finishing the regular season with 1,428 yards, 13 touchdowns, and a quarterback rating when targeted of 120.8. This resulted in him winning a spot on the AP first team along with an array of other accolades. All right, so let's talk about his strengths. Big guy. He made Bruce Feldman's Freaks list at number 58. He said, terrific high school sprinter at Vegas powerhouse Bishop Gorman, who won the 4A state title in the 200 meters, 21.25, and the 4x100 relay, 41.36. This offseason, Odunze ran a 4.3440, a 4.19 pro agility shuttle, and also did 37.1 inches on the vertical and 10.1 in the broad jump. And he did better on all those in the combine, by the way. He displays remarkable body control, especially on near sideline catches, demonstrating his adaptability and versatility as a receiver. What I saw from the tape, man, he's a contested catch guy. And for his size, he has a pretty good release. So when I watch him, if I want to give a comp that I think could be his goal, what we want him to become, it's going to sound cheesy because he's one of the best in the game right now, but Davante Adams, I think that's his upside. I think he's got the release. He's got good routes. The thing that bothers me a little bit with Odunze is what I look for in receivers that I like more is the separation. And I do think he gets separation, but it's not as much as I would like to see. And I think he does rely on that contested catch ability, which I think we kind of get in trouble with sometimes when we look for those contested catch guys, because it works in college because you're 6'3", 210, jumping over this random cornerback that isn't an NFL caliber cornerback. And so you can win those contested catch balls. When you get into the NFL, those corners, if they are anywhere near you, they are not letting you come down with that ball. So that's why, me personally, I don't get as excited about contested catch guys, but he went 9th overall. He is great. He's great at it. So, and I think his release and his footwork, his route running, that's what kind of gets me excited about him as potentially being great. He's going into a system with Keenan Allen, DJ Moore. I mean, this guy is going to have some of the best teaching him how to make his game better right off the bat. So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited for Rome Odunze, and I think that his strengths as a contested catch guy are elite, and they're elite enough to be translated into Sunday. A lot of people also say he has late hands. I mean, if you really are into late hands, whatever. To me, that's still kind of like, oh, someone's on you type deal. Like someone's glued to you, so you have to have late hands. When I say late hands, I mean you're running down the sideline and like you don't put your hands out at first because you don't want the DB to know where the ball is going to go and swat it away. So a lot of people like the fact that he has the late hands that come up and he's able to get the ball. But from my perspective, you don't have to have late hands if you're burning people, right? You don't have to have late hands if you have 2-3 yards separation, that guy can't even catch you. So yeah, he has late hands, but just be careful with that, because if you have late hands, just because you're close to someone, you see what I'm saying? That's my only knock. That's my only knock on guys that are like contested catch guys, is the separation isn't as much as you would want it to be. Now, an argument could be made, he's 6'3", 210, whatever. Like, he's a big dude. He's not going to be able to separate like a 6', 190 guy, a smaller guy. So I get it. Like, he's not going to be able to separate as much, but hopefully if he works on his releases a little bit more, his technique, that he can create that separation with his footwork, and he can be a lot more successful and not even have to use that contested catch. And I do personally think that he can work on that part of his game. So his upside is Davante Adams. I mean, I love Davante. I'm a Packers fan. So that's a lot of praise. As someone who didn't like him so much pre-draft, I'm still sitting here telling you that is his upside, and I recognize that. I don't hate on Rome Odunze as much now because of the draft capital, but that draft capital did help. I'm not going to lie. All right, so let's get into his stats. So in 2020 at Washington, he had 6 receptions for 72 yards, 0 touchdowns. In 2021, he had 41 receptions for 415 yards and 4 touchdowns. And then his junior year is when he broke out. So 75 receptions, 1,145 yards. He was averaging 15.3 a catch, and he had 7 touchdowns. He also had 3 attempts for 6 yards and 1 touchdown, so probably at the goal line. Then in 2023, his senior year, he had 87 receptions for 1,553 yards. He was averaging 18 yards a catch. He had 13 touchdowns, and he had 2 attempts rushing for 37 yards and a touchdown. So, I mean, he came on late, and I think that's kind of the knock compared to some of these other elite guys, Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors. He's kind of tiered into that 3, the big 3, right, this year. I think Rome Odunze is very clearly the wide receiver 3 out of those 2. You can really see he came on late, but when he came on, he was great and he was elite. He posted elite production. So that's why he's here, is because of that. Also, he was playing with guys like Jalen Polk. And so Jalen Polk came on a little bit later. He actually helped Rome Odunze better his game, get better stats. So I think that kind of tells you that being in a room with Keenan Allen and DJ Moore, I don't think that necessarily hurts Rome Odunze as much as we all think it will. I think that he'll be able to compete with them, and that'll just make him better. If he's not the one that's going to be followed by Jair Alexander, I'll tell you right now, then that's a good thing for Rome Odunze. If he's able to go against the second or third cornerbacks on teams, that's what you want. So he'll have it a little bit easier, since people are probably going to be following either Keenan Allen or DJ Moore. So that's good for him. All right, so let's talk about his opportunity with the Bears. I think that year 1, I think you need to be a little patient, right? If you're drafting Rome Odunze, do not get upset when he comes on a little bit slower, all right? Because that's what we should be expecting. We should be expecting him to be the 3rd wide receiver on this team, okay? We should be expecting Keenan Allen, DJ Moore to lead the team in targets. I don't really think that's a crazy thing to say. Those are the guys with experience. Those are the vets. I mean, Keenan Allen could have a pretty steep downfall. He's getting older, but still fully expect those guys to be in front of him. I think you could still expect Rome Odunze to have 100 targets, to have maybe not 1,000 yards, but right under it, maybe 800 yards and 5 touchdowns. So he would finish as like a wide receiver 45 on the year. You know, we also have to limit our expectations because Caleb Williams, as much as we want Caleb Williams to set the world on fire, he's a rookie quarterback, and we need to temper our expectations. I'm not so sure Caleb Williams, his rookie season, is going to produce 3,000-yard wide receivers. If he did, that's another conversation. You know, he becomes the next Patrick Mahomes. He's going 101 next year in startups. You know, that's the kind of level that we could see potentially. I think Rome Odunze, you need to be patient. Like, let off your expectation. You're wanting to draft him. You want to, obviously we want to see something year one. We want to see him get like 800 yards, and we're happy with that. And also towards the end of the year, we're going to see him kind of pick up speed. So beginning of the year, hold off. We're going to see Marvin Harrison Jr. going off. We're going to see Malik Neighbors going off. Just be patient. Don't freak out. Don't sell him low. Hold on to him, because year 2 is when he's going to go off, and we are going to get really hyped. I could really see going into the off season for his second year, we were all just super hyped up about Caleb Williams taking the next step and Rome Odunze being the one for him because they have a connection. Keenan Allen falling off. So that's what you're expecting. You're waiting for year 2. So be patient with Rome Odunze. It's going to be kind of frustrating because he's a part of that big 3 and he deserves to be there, but you're just going to have to wait. That's going to wrap it up for today's pod. I'm going to still keep pushing out rookie profiles, so stay tuned for that. Please make sure to leave a 5-star rating or review on whatever platform you're listening from, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes. Follow us on X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Sleeper Dynasty. Also, make sure to check out the Sleeper Gang merch on sleeperdynasty.com. Peace.